Welcome to episode 113 of In Touch with iOS, a podcast that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and my co-host, Warren Sklar, is here. How are you doing, Warren?
I am doing well. Thank you. Glad to be here again.
Staying out of trouble, I hope?
Yeah. Can you hear me all right? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay. I still am not using my Amazon. I got an email actually today. It says review your purchase of the Amazon USB microphone.
Oh yeah, that mic.
I haven't reviewed it yet, so I'll save that for next time.
All right, we'll have fun. But we also have a guest here this week, as we always do. And we are welcoming back Mr. Jeff Gamet to the show. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me back again.
Absolutely.
I guess I should also say thanks for being so forgiving, because you're having me back. I just assume when I'm on a show, I'll never get invited back.
Gonna make you a regular guest now. Come on, you've already earned it. So we really appreciate being here.
But seriously, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We love your insights. So this week, always got some news stories to talk about. There's all kinds of exciting things that happened last week. Another beta dropped this week, as well as a beta of iOS 13 that we didn't expect. Plus, I've got a couple reviews I'm going to talk about. Got the new Function101 remote. For those on camera, can see I have put it up on the camera here. And
I'm looking forward to hearing you talk about that.
All kinds of other fun things, tips, apps. That's what we're here for. So let's go right in and dig into the news stories for this week. I was going to try to avoid talking about Fortnite and Epic versus Apple. I'm just getting kind of tired of it. I don't know about you guys, but
I've actually not spoken about the Apple v Fortnite or Fortnite v Apple thing.
Oh, okay,
I guess
good.
Epic v Apple on any show at all.
All right, well, so now I guess we'll have a little bit of insight. But I spun a little difference in the news here. So this is the first article is in 9 to 5 Mac. Fortnite on iOS and Mac are losing cross-platform compatibility over the Apple battle. After the judge ruled that they couldn't terminate Epic Games developer accounts because of the Unreal Engine, which would pretty much eliminate everybody that uses that technology. And that's going to be the deadline. It's actually I believe is today.
Tomorrow
that they're going to
the 28th.
As we record this. So and now Fortnite versions will no longer be played on iOS and Mac as cross-platform. It will vanish. So this again, I had a debate the last 2 weeks on Chuck Joyner's show on Mac Voices Live. That I very calculated what Epic did with this whole thing. I'm not too excited about this company right now, and then the CEO just doesn't care. They knew what they were doing. All they got to do is flip the switch back, and they'd be back in the App Store. But apparently, they don't want to do that and want to keep it going. Jeff, I'll let you start off. What did you think of this whole debacle?
Well, like I said, this is the first time I've spoken on any show about this whole thing. So
they want a treat. We're in for a treat.
Yeah, I'm going to start by saying anyone that thinks that Epic is doing this in an altruistic manner is incredibly deluded. This is all about Epic just wanting to take total control over the revenue stream. I can appreciate wanting to do that. However, I think the way they're going about this is very disingenuous and it's very crappy. And what they're doing is taking the users and trying to turn them into pawns in this battle against Apple. And I think that is just a horrible thing to do to your users. And it's not like they didn't expect this to play out with the way to a degree. I'm betting they were thinking some of this would be resolved by now, but the way that they planned the changes that they made into the application, knowing full well that they're violating their Apple developer agreement to do that, and then playing the victim afterwards. Come on, that is just a crappy move. and to the point that they already had their anti-1984 video ready to go.
It was queued and ready.
Yeah, they had everything lined up and ready to go. Yeah. I don't think they were expecting to get yanked the same way from the Google Play Store.
No, I didn't think so.
And to Google, I say good for you for enforcing your App Store rules as well. Yeah. And now we get to the point where we have the court hearing. So we have a preliminary injunction that says, sure, Apple can block Fortnite from the App Store, but Apple can't revoke Epic's developer license. So these are preliminary injunctions. These can change next month. I believe there's another hearing like in late September.
Right.
And then of course there will be additional court time after that, because Epic is playing a long game here, and Apple is totally ready to fight them on this. And seriously, Epic, if you want Apple to change the way that they are handling in-app payments, then why don't you do the same? Because their app store is the same as Apple's. And, well, apparently I had a little soapbox to climb on.
You did, and we appreciate it. Warren, you and I have had discussions about this for the last few weeks on this show, as well as Mac to the Future Go. Any other thoughts about this whole event that's been going on here?
I'm learning more about Fortnite than I ever think I ever want to know about.
Same here. I never played it.
I played it once, maybe when it first came out. So what I've learned today is, and this is going to kind of steal thunder of the next story a little bit, but what I'm understanding is that there's seasons, and you play, these seasons, and there's level 1 through whatever. And once you hit the end of the level, you're kind of the winner, I guess. And then the season starts over, and everybody kind of starts back to the beginning. And it's a whole new update to the world. And I think I saw something that the next season's going to have Marvel included in it. I think it's what I saw.
Yeah, that's the rumor.
So that's the rumor. So what happens is it's a server-side update, I think, but it's maybe more than that. So that's why if Apple doesn't do the update on the iOS device, then they're not going to get the new season. And since the Mac is also affected, whether it's affected because Epic is just like,
that's totally an Epic move on the Mac side.
Yeah. So they're either saying, we're not doing it, or we can't do it, or maybe we can do it, but we don't feel like doing it.
I'm pretty sure they're saying we're not going to do it, because from what I've read, there's no technical reason to stop the Mac Fortnite players from getting the content update for seasons. Sure. And there's no technical reason to block them from cross-platform playing. Right.
So in my little perfect world, I guess everybody on the Apple devices are going to be stuck on the old world, while everybody's else is on the new world. And I'm thinking there's probably enough iPhone users and maybe a couple of Mac users to be okay with that. Hey, we got rid of everybody else. Now we got the world to ourselves, and it might be actually kind of fun. But it's supposedly still going to work after the new season starts. You'll be stuck with everybody else who's stuck on that season, and it's kind of like an abandoned world. So I guess it's kind of like going to be a post-apocalyptic world for the Apple users.
It's suddenly sounding like an intriguing game to me.
Yeah, it's going to be like there's going to be just dead people lying on the ground that nobody cleaned up, and pixels missing here and there, and just. It's going to be like Mad Max, and I think they should rename it to Fortnite Mad Max Apple version. So, it's crazy, and it's exactly everything Jeff said is true. It's just Epic being a big baby, more or less, on it at this point. And I think before it gets it's going to get better before it gets worse. At this point, I think at this point, Epic is just going to cave in so soon. I think.
Yeah, and like you said, the next story, it's rich spoiling. Ars Technica put an article in today. Your iPhone copy of Fortnite is about to become out of date, and as we just discussed, it's not going to be back on it's not going to be back on the App Store, and you're not going to be able to update it. So it's kind of pointless. So you morons who spent $4,000 for an iPhone that had the Fortnite app on it on eBay. You are gonna be in.
Wait, people are doing that?
Oh yeah, you didn't know that story. Yeah, there was people throwing up iPhone SEs, iPhone 10s, whatever iPhones they had, and they would throw it up on eBay. And there was, I don't know if someone just inflated the price. It's very that's probably what the case was. But someone had bid like $4,300 for an iPhone that had Fortnite already pre-installed on it, ready to go.
So I'm trying to wrap my head around this because what the hell?
Exactly.
So is this like an iPhone where someone has played up so that you've leveled up really high, and then
I don't know if they leveled it up high or it just has where it was left off on Fortnite.
I think they just left the app there. Yeah.
Yeah, they just left the app on the iPhone so then they can go and play it because it's not going to be available on the iPhone anymore.
Which I never got. When they did that with Flappy Bird, I didn't get that either because
Flappy Bird was one of the other ones, the apps.
They did it with that, but it's still tied to that person's iCloud account.
Exactly.
So if you ever,
that's the other thing. I mean,
if you ever delete the app by accident, you can't get it back because it's not in your.
That's the chance they're taking.
Account. Right. If the phone ever dies, it's. You're better off selling your iCloud account with the app on it.
If you're spending $4,000 on a game that comes with an iPhone included, it better have the Apple ID associated with it that comes as part of the deal,
and a credit card attached to it.
Yeah. They may sign out of it and just leave the app on the iPhones, but who knows?
I'm sure that's what they're doing. Yeah, but
but then you can't do updates.
Right. Well, no. You can't update it anyway because it's.
Before it's that's true.
Yeah, I think maybe with this eBay stuff, from what I've read, is that it doesn't really sell for that. Maybe somebody sells it to each other.
Somebody
inflated up and kind of
there was more reality checks and $300 $400 for $500 for an iPhone, so just more realistic.
Okay, if you want to buy the iPhone, great.
But it includes Fortnite.
Yeah. What wow, just wow.
Yeah. Yep, crazy stuff. And in fact, Ars Technica put an update in here. This was yesterday as we recorded this. iOS players who have previously downloaded the game will actually be able to continue playing the current version 13.40, which is Chapter 2, Season 3 update on iOS, as well as subsequent versions on other platforms. So, who knows? Like I said, I don't want to spend much more time on this because it's just silly, honestly. Guys, any other thoughts before we move on?
Nope.
All right. Let's move on. And also in Ars Technica, this happened about 3 days ago. Apple apologizes to WordPress. No longer requires free app to add purchases. Apple was a little under pressure, getting a little jumpy on WordPress for iOS, which of course is a free app that connects everybody to the company's free open source content management system, also known as CMS, which millions of sites around the web use for some part of their structure. And of course, WordPress sells domain names and they sell services and all that stuff. And Apple decided you're not doing the in-app purchase, you can't sell this stuff, so we're pulling your app. So
am I misunderstanding this? Because, and I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, please. Go ahead.
Okay, so here's what I thought was going on, and it's that when you get the WordPress app so that you can manage your WordPress site from your iPhone or iPad, that you could go through menus and get to a place where you had the option to then upgrade to a paid WordPress account. And that's what the problem was. So what
this was to the .com plans, not the
right,
.org
yes.
plans?
Yeah, so it wasn't like Apple was saying, you have something that's free and you're letting people use it for free, but we're requiring you to add in a payment option. It's that WordPress had put it in kind of a surreptitious way, and Apple figured it out, and then the WordPress team was like, what if we shut off the thing that shows people that part? And then Apple said, I don't know if we're cool with that. But apparently Apple decided, yeah, we are cool with that, which I think was the right move. So am I misunderstanding how it played out?
No, you're not. You're not at all. And Apple, here's Apple's actually their statement. They said in a statement, since the developer removed the display of their service payment options from the app, it is now a free standalone app and does not have to offer in-app purchases. We have informed the developer and apologize for any confusion that we have caused.
Okay. So, totally reasonable, happy ending.
That was a happy ending after all that.
Except the president of WordPress kind of said, you know what, we kind of removed that stuff a long time ago before this even came out.
Matt Mullenweg, yep.
Yeah, he said we did that a while ago. It's still cool, but it's not like we just did that. So it's more like, the press made a little noise. We're already getting some flack with this other Epic stuff and the Hey stuff before it. Let's just do this nicely. And you got to wonder if they would have been as inviting if this didn't make the tech press.
I'm wondering if this would have been an issue at all if we didn't have the Epic thing happening. Right.
Well, I think in general, there's been quite the push on Apple's 30% and the App Store. That's been quite the discussion for a fair amount of time here. So and then Epic just intensified the discussions. So, but happy ending with WordPress. I think everybody's fine and no complaints anymore. So, let's go ahead and move on. Apple actually, this was on Mac Rumors. Apple actually redesigned their Newsroom, which actually was kind of overdue, honestly. The Newsroom page on their website that gives an emphasis on stories that they share and all that kind of fun stuff, and press release journalist stuff and all that. If you go in there now, they put it in line with the way everything else is designed. So nice, clean way of looking at things. So like there's a feature article, latest news, how one teacher is prepared for a year like no other with support from Apple. So they always are talking about how great they are. Like Final Cut Pro 10 was just released with some updates and improvements. And Apple is now celebrating national parks with their 104th anniversary birthday. So I thought that was interesting to see that they finally updated it, because it was kind of outdated the way they put that out, which I was surprised.
When they made the changes to what is now outdated and gone, I never liked it. Not at all, because from my perspective, at the time, I was working for Mac Observer, so I was checking the Apple press release news site on a regular basis.
I figured as much.
And when they changed it, to me, it became much more difficult to use, because you didn't have just these nice, clean lists of here's the articles.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was awesome. I mean, it wasn't as pretty as the Apple homepage, but I didn't care because it worked really well. And I'm looking at the new version.
I like the squares. I mean, it just has nice, clean layout.
It's clean. It's nice. And it looks very Apple. And at the same time, I wish they'd go back to the old style where it was just nice, easy to look at lists. It was very obvious what was most recent.
Yeah.
It was grouped really well. And apparently I'm just being a curmudgeon.
I wonder if this goes into an RSS feed, and maybe you can put it in when you're in one of your news readers. And
I probably can't. I do have an IFT recipe set up so that every time Apple rolls out a new press release through the news site, that I get a push notification.
Yeah. Yep. I just added it to my news feed news reader of choice, News Explorer, and it looks just like any other RSS. Brings all the articles in place.
So why do you like News Explorer? And I'm not like setting you up. I'm genuinely interested.
No. I've actually talked about this app before. This actually is on SetApp, which we've talked about many times. Last week, actually set up just added iOS apps to their mix. So, but I like it just the way it lays out. I can put feeds in and organize them by news articles. But I have stuff focused on Apple focused stuff. I have stuff on local news. I put together some of the publications that Future that publishes, like Anatech and That's Up Magazine. I can narrow that down, the news, and then some other tech sites. And I like the way I can organize it, keep it in place, and it uses the standard OPML format, so I can export the file, and if I decide to go and use it to another reader, and I can use that too, because NetNews app is another good one. We've talked about that one too. So that's the reason why I use that one, because I like the interface.
Okay, cool.
So, anything you'd like to add, Warren?
It looks very nice. It looks a lot like the Apple News app layout, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think that's probably what their intent was, just to kind of synchronize what they're doing with that with the news Plus. So
yep, that's good.
Next article from 9to5Mac. Facebook again criticizes iOS 14 privacy changes and warns of drastic effect on advertising industry. Facebook continues to warn advertisers about the effects of the privacy and tracking changes that Apple has planned for iOS 14. Yay. While a pair of early reports indicated that Facebook's concerns, the company has now published a blog posting detailing how advertisers will be affected by iOS 14's new anti-tracking features. And they go on to explain that it's going to rely on identifiers and all this other stuff. And you could read the article, but I'm a cry me a river with Facebook, honestly. I mean, they're a behemoth of what do they have? Over 1 billion subscribers now, and they have there's other ways of doing advertising. I mean, you'll get around it. At least I like this like a way to sum it up. What do you think, Jeff?
Well, I can appreciate Facebook's concern because we as Facebook users have been exploited for advertising, and it's been very beneficial for Facebook. So losing a substantial chunk of that really trackable commodity, meaning us, I can see where that's a really big problem for Facebook. But at the same time, maybe when they started figuring out how to turn us into the product, they should have thought about the way they're doing it and come up with a system that treated us better, was more respectful of our privacy. And apparently I showed up today with a big soapbox.
It's okay. We want to hear your opinions on this stuff. So
that's why you're here.
Did you have any you have any thoughts on this at all?
Just from what I heard is Facebook has all sorts of different advertising revenue, and this is not all of it. This is basically they have a client that they provide they provide information about people to, and this change affects that. It affects the information they could give to this one particular client that they sell the information to, because they don't have the information to sell if this happens. So it doesn't change their other advertising revenue, which is all the Facebook ads that you see, other things there. But, like I've told you before, everybody who, hating Facebook seems to be the hipster thing to do.
Always is.
Yeah, I use it, man, but I really hate it.
My grandmother's on there.
Yeah, really, I have to use it because my mom doesn't know how to call me anymore.
Yeah.
Do I like everything about
if that's
Facebook?
the case, call your mom. Exactly. Maybe she's waiting for you.
Are you crazy? That's like the last thing I ever want to do is call my mom or my dad. So if I could just send them like a thumbs up and thumbs down in Messenger for the rest of their life, I'll be pretty happy. But that's besides the point.
AOL Messenger, right?
I don't even do the thumbs up. I don't even do the thumbs up and thumbs down anymore. I just kind of click on their message and like their message, at this point. So it's like, the minimum you could do. But yeah, I mean, everybody seems to hate Facebook because that's a cool thing to do. But I don't hate it. I don't love everything they do, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't hate Facebook. I do have issues with the way that they've been so cavalier with user privacy over the years, and that feels to me very irresponsible and like something that they were aware that they were doing. When you have that much data, how can you not be aware of the way you're using it?
Yeah, but that's every company except for Apple, and we compare everybody to Apple because that's what we do.
Oh, sure. I'm singling out Facebook because that's what we're talking about in this moment.
Right, but they're so many not alone. Yeah, they're not alone.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Next story. This is in 9 to 5 Mac. Users can now create shortcuts to switch account on Apple TV with iOS 14 and tvOS 14. Apple announced some great new features in the Shortcuts app with iOS 14, including the new trigger types, an Apple Watch app, and a redesigned interface on the iPad. And today with the 6th beta, which we'll talk about in a minute here, Apple has added a new option in the Shortcuts app that allows Apple TV users to easily switch accounts in the iOS tvOS 14. In order to use this, of course, you have to be on all the latest beta versions to do this. And the switch account user account option can be used as part of your automated shortcut. So do things like setting up your Apple TV, switch accounts a certain time of day, or even associate your accounts to command and open of an app. I've been set up for years having a purchase account Apple ID and a iCloud account Apple ID, and I have those both signed into my Apple TV now, and this is going to be a nice feature to be able to switch. So okay,
I have a question for you, because we may be turning this into a Let's Give Jeff tech support show all of a sudden. Okay, so if I'm hearing what you're saying correctly, you have two Apple IDs that you have logged into your Apple TV.
Right.
Now, are they both for purchases, or is one purchase and the other is HomeKit?
One of them is for back in the old days when we didn't have family sharing available. Mm-hmm. I'm still stuck on it. And I don't want to lose my iCloud ID because I have it at Mac.com and me and all the others. So, I originally signed up my Mac.com account as my iCloud only, or just my iCloud, and all my settings and sync, my backups and all that are synced on that account. I have one on my Gmail account that I had been using for purchases for forever. I mean, we're going back, 10 years at least. So now I don't want to lose all those purchases and of course, Apple, it's impossible to get them to ever try to even think that they could help you merge accounts. So I would love to merge it down to one account now, because now we have a family share.
I would love that too.
I have family sharing, and they just won't do it. But the reason I gave that example is the fact that you can now, with this shortcut option, you'd now be able to switch between apps if so needed. Like if you have photos streaming on the Apple TV, you might have it on one Apple ID. If you have your purchase on the other, then you might have it on that. So that's the reasoning as far as being able to switch.
Okay. I thought at first you had figured out how to get around the problem that I'm having, which is in iOS 13, you can't have two Apple IDs associated with your Apple TV anymore, which means I have to be logged in either to have a HomeKit bridge, or I have to be logged in to have access to all of my content.
Okay.
So I am stuck with an Apple TV that also used to be my home bridge, And it can't be that anymore. Just incredibly frustrating.
Yeah. Did you have anything on that, Warren? On that?
I never had to need to switch it. In fact, I have a second profile on Netflix that I never use either. But yeah, it seems like it's like a nuclear option. It seems like to switch out of, just to add another viewer profile, you have to switch out of Apple to do it, which seems to be a huge undertaking. But whatever.
I hadn't thought about it that way before, and now that you say it, I'm thinking, holy crap, this isn't fixing a problem. It's Apple coming up with a workaround for a problem and spinning it as a cool new feature.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can't just add like a second profile to like it's at this point it's a family device, right? It's not your own personal device.
Yeah.
And people are saying it. So, like Netflix figured it out, Hulu figured it out, Disney Plus figured it out.
Everyone figured it out.
But to have to actually sign out of the Apple ID just to switch, that seems pretty nuclear to me, but whatever.
Yeah, Apple's not been very good at getting their Apple IDs in place. It's a shame.
No, I actually have
because I have multiple others that I only use for like testing and stuff. I don't use it as part of anything. But my two primary ones, that's the ones I don't ever want to lose. So
I lost the one I want. I used to have a UK one when I lived in London, and that expired out.
Right.
But that was great because I was able to get UK content that I couldn't get here.
Yeah.
But eventually, when you don't have a credit card there for long enough, they're like, you probably don't live here anymore, so you can't have this anymore. So
you're out.
Got rid of it. Yep.
Okay, and then the next story, a 9to5 Mac, Apple's stock split prompts the Dow Jones to rejig. ExxonMobil is out, all the tech companies are in. So Apple is now going to be part of the Dow Jones Average, S&P Dow Jones Average, the indexes, and that just tells you how big they are now. The stock is right at $500 a share as this is recording, and it's going to be splitting, I believe, tomorrow at the end of business, which I'm kind of excited about, getting 3 to 1 stock ratio there. So pretty cool. I'm pretty stoked in seeing how successful really Apple has been. So, Warren, what do you think?
Yeah, no, it's gone up a lot. Like I said,
you said your wife was like thinks this is a fluke, right?
No, well, she the whole market thinks it's going to have a correction. It's artificially high. So the country's not doing as well as Wall Street thinks we are. But the stock split, again, you're not gaining anything on the day of the spot. It's not like you're making money off that, but it's all psychological. It makes people want to be able to buy more stock because it could afford it. But again, that was back in the days where you couldn't buy partial stock, and now I think Robinhood lets you do that.
Right.
There's a few companies that you can buy a fractional piece of a stock. So in theory, I could have bought, I could buy, 10% of an Apple stock right now, but I'm sure it's going to go up. I'm sure people will say this is a good thing. And I'm sure it is. Ka-ching.
Thoughts, Jeff? Yeah, ka-ching.
I don't play the stock market game.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of companies doing stock splits because from my perspective, it gives people that wanted to get into a stock an opportunity to do so, hopefully.
Yeah.
And for the people that are already invested, then it gives them the opportunity to potentially have that initial investment worth so much more. So, great.
Yep, good stuff. We'll go ahead and move on. A couple more stories till we go to the topics here. Mac Observer, actually, this is an article I linked to. Jeff Butts wrote this article. Many iPhone ads are hiding malware. Apple's reviews of apps is comprehensive, but it looks like an advertising framework had fooled it. One leading software developer SDK development kit used to help app developers make money from their apps by hiding malware that can steal your personal data. Yeah, you read that right. The scope of the problem is frightening. And he said there's over 1,200 apps in here that are hiding malware. How could that be? How does Apple let this slip through? It's a good read. But what do you think, Jeff?
All right. So this looks bad for Apple.
Yeah.
And shame on Apple for letting this happen. At the same time, what Apple is having to do to screen apps, I mean, that's a monumental task. So
true.
So I can see where you can have some third-party company that's making essentially a module that goes into to other apps that can access content that it shouldn't, and that it could go unnoticed for a while just because of the nature of how the apps are built and how the screening process works. And then once Apple figures out what's going on, then they can address it and filter out those apps. But at the same time, until they figure it out, holy crap, you end up with a situation like this where you have a lot of applications that have this malware potentially in it.
Right.
At the same time, though, as a percentage of applications on the App Store, this isn't that big. Yeah.
Because I haven't seen a lot of press on it. I think this is just the only one I caught. So,
and my guess is that, and actually, I'm looking at the article now. I'm sorry, Dave and Brian, I hadn't actually read this yet. I'm sorry, Jeff, I haven't read your article yet. Does it say anything in here about which applications?
It didn't give any specifics that I saw.
Okay, so I'm going to make a giant leap here and speculate that the apps that are using this specific SDK for ad placement are not what I'll call the mainstream apps, the really popular apps.
Seems like it.
And so that the actual number of people that are potentially impacted by this is probably pretty small. And this is one of those places where Apple could use that remote kill switch that they have for apps, which my guess is that we'll figure out some of the apps that are involved in this when Apple actually has to do that, or if they have to do that.
Yeah. Any thoughts, Warren?
Yeah, like I usually say, researchers find something that's not really, what do we say? People in lab coats find something that's not really widespread, and then Apple will fix it. Seems like another one of those kind of things. It just the funny thing that it made me think of is if you ever accidentally open up an ad in on an Android tablet, there's no going back from that. They don't hide anything. It's like boxes are opening up. You can't close anything up. The thing starts to smoke and burn up. You have to turn it off, and you have to remove the battery and count to 10. And in the scheme of things, this seems pretty pleasant. If you don't even know that you're being attacked, hey, why not? But it's the kind of thing where I say it takes researchers to figure this stuff out, where every other platform it's just blatantly obvious of what's going on with the malware. And Apple's pretty good, and Jeff said, it's going to be Apple could probably just on the back end take care of business when it's time to do that.
Of course. Yep. Absolutely. All right, let's go ahead and move on to topics. Beta this week. Warren, we got beta 6 that was released to developers. I know you were all over it as soon as it came out. And it looks like not a lot of huge changes that I could see. Cosmetic. Was there anything that stood out to you that they added to this release?
Well, the big news is that the beta cycle went from every other week to weekly, at least just for this week so far. Apple's not, they never commit to anything. So I wouldn't be surprised if next week didn't, come out another beta, and, wouldn't have killed them to put out a extra beta this week. It doesn't look like they're doing that. So maybe they'll, which they'd, been doing the same weeks, and maybe they'll alternate them. The only feature I've noticed is Apple Maps won't stay open for longer than about 10 seconds now. So that's a nice feature. Yeah.
I'll try it on my iPad. I played with Maps.
You're running on your iPad? Okay.
Yeah. I have it on. Actually, I have it on two iPads. Cool. One of the 10-inch iPad Pros and a 4th gen iPad Mini.
All right.
And so I'll go and see if Maps is Suck City there.
I've gotten friendly with Waze again. Evidently through this beta cycle. So
someday ask me to tell you my Waze rage.
I can imagine.
Anyhow, what I have noticed with the limited time that I've had to play with Dev Beta 6 is that it feels like my iPad Mini 4 got a performance boost compared to Dev Beta 5.
Yeah, it seems snappy. The battery is definitely taking a hit on the last beta too. I've noticed a couple things with the battery is it doesn't last as long, and it always, even though you keep turning off the battery health to preserve the battery up to 80%, it keeps turning itself back on, which is fun that your phone only charges 80%, even though you tell it not to. So, I'm noticing more bugs than anything, but it does seem a little faster. They changed the last beta. They changed the clock wheel. When you change the time, you could either do the clock wheel, the scrolling thing, or type in the number. And I don't know if you listen here, but the
it's in there.
Well, the COVID thing is in there too, and that's actually in the beta now too, where you could opt into the COVID. You could opt into the COVID system without
tracking,
without an application, or at least you could try to. On the beta, if you try to opt in, it goes through the whole process of where you live and all that stuff, and it says, "Oops, no, you don't have an app," so it doesn't turn it on. So you get a little bit further than you did before, but that's about it.
Now, I'm totally willing to admit I'm wrong if it turns out I'm wrong, but on my iPads running Dev Beta 6, I can't get to a place where I can try to enable the COVID tracking. And instead, I see just a line in settings that says my iPhone is my device that I'm using for location. And so there just simply aren't any options at all. So
you're correct. iPads don't have COVID tracking.
Okay, well, there you go.
iPhone.
Yeah, it's just iPhone, right?
Yeah. But I do like that when I get to the area where it ought to be, it just tells me flat out, here's the device you're using for tracking, and I'm not it.
Yeah, but you could tell them maybe you are. Maybe I take my iPad everywhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't believe you.
Then the Apple Watch, the third beta, public beta came out for the Apple Watch OS 7. And have you had any problems with the watch, Warren?
I decided to do I installed a beta on the way home from work, so I plugged in my watch to a charger in my car because I wanted to do it. And
God,
Jeff, this is a man who was in a hospital bed and he did a podcast.
So it actually it was stuck on the Apple logo for about 5 hours. And I'm like, I did it again. I bricked it. Looked at it once and it came back up, and it's fine. It came up. It woke up. It was like a 5-hour update that I guess finished. So maybe I won't do the update in the car anymore. Maybe
I should say, Jeff, this is a man who was in a hospital bed and did an iOS beta update using the hospital's Wi-Fi for 8 hours.
And the Mac updates too, because
he did his Mac update from there too.
I like to think that I've been very brave, rushing in where angels fear to tread with Apple betas, but I hold nothing to you, Warren.
Oh, he just says, do it. And I keep saying, no, don't do it. You're
What's the worst that's going to happen? What's going to happen?
Well,
if you brick your Apple Watch, you don't have an Apple Watch.
It's bricked.
That's the only thing that could happen is you could brick your watch. And then I am a little worried, and I'll tell you why I'm worried. And Dave is going to like roll his eyes again. But I have a Tesla on order. It's coming in 2 weeks. It's a Tesla Model Y.
I'm happy for you.
But seriously, I am a little concerned that the beta might be a problem with the Tesla app, because the Tesla app literally becomes a key to your car. So if that doesn't work, if it doesn't work on the beta, I might have to revert my phone back to iOS 13. And if that's the case, I have to buy another Apple Watch because I can't use the. That's
right, because I mean, for all the years that I have played with dev betas, I have never put a beta on my Apple Watch because I know it's a one-way path.
Yeah, I did it. Once I had to go back to Apple, and they did swap it out for me. It's been okay since then, but I am playing with fire with the watch. That is a one-way street.
Boy, howdy, you're playing with fire. But on the other side of that, how is it that Apple can't have a beta system for Apple Watch that isn't destructive?
And I thought maybe this, time around, they would figure this out. And you can't tell me it's because it doesn't have a port, because it's just got to be a way. It has Wi-Fi already on it. If it could get to the internet, it could do an internet recovery. So there's got to be a way that they could make it happen. But I agree.
You would think, and yet here we are.
Yeah.
All right. And then let's, for the sake of time here, let's briefly to mention that iOS 13.7 was released this week. Yeah, there is a beta for 13. I can't believe it. And it's all it is the exposure notification opt-in, and it's public beta too. And I don't see anything else that's there. I don't know why it's in beta. They might as well just released it. So don't be all surprised that comes out within the next week as official release. And of course, Warren, you're not on iOS 13, so you can't even say otherwise.
I do have one iPad on that beta.
Do you? Okay.
Here's my very quick take on that. The fact that Apple is releasing a 13.7 update, because we do have the beta for it now, tells me that we're not going to get iOS 14 official public release as early as people hope.
Yeah, Dave and I, Guy Cyril, we're going through this, and Guy said that initially, he said this weeks ago that iOS 14 won't be released until the iPhone 12 is dropped. And this was before we thought, we didn't know if the iPhone was going to be coming out in September, October, November, December, January, who knows? So, Dave and I were like, pretty much, there's no way they're going to hold back iOS 14. If the iPhone 12 doesn't drop until December. I mean, that's just craziness. I mean,
I agree.
How long can you hold?
Yeah.
But the fact that maybe we're talking 2 to 3 weeks, that I could see Apple saying, let's wait the 2 to 3 weeks till the iPhone 12 drops, and then we'll, put the final release out at that point.
Yeah.
That's a little more realistic, I think.
I think we're getting iOS 14 at the end of September, and or the first week of October, and then the new iPhones at the end of October.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I think that I've been on that since the beginning. So, all right, let's move on. I wanted to do a review this week. I happened to get this Function101 remote. We talked about this on the show before. This was a Swiss remote that was made in Switzerland that wasn't distributed in the U.S. And everybody wanted it because, let's face it, everybody hates this gosh darn remote that comes with the Apple TV. So Function101 took this on and is now distributing this into the US. And I want to give a bit of a review of it. couple of the things that I like about it is the fact that it's got a real nice feel to it. The face of the remote the buttons are raised. It's nice. You can get to them. You're not dealing with that touchpad on the Apple TV remote, and it also integrates your TV. And what the neat thing was, and like I said, I literally got this remote about five hours ago in the mail. So I've already had time to play with it, and I already got my good impressions on it. It automatically synced to my TV, and I have a Samsung TV. I didn't even have to do anything. It automatically sensed that the TV was there, and it turns the power on and off, and it turns the volume up and down. So it's got that functionality. So it added that. And then it's got all the other functionality that's in there. And like I said, the buttons are nice. They feel real well. And nice that it works out right out of the box. And it works on two AAA batteries, which were included. And was very, very happy with that. The cons to it is the fact that if you want to be able to use Siri for the voice control, you're out of luck. It doesn't have that. This is really just a remote that you just want to have that feels good. It's not small. It's not easy to lose like the Apple TV remote can be. So you don't have that, as well as the home button. If you want to be able to get into the home button, get to the home and go to the home screen and be able to get to the home menus, you don't have that option either. So they really stripped this down to just being just a practical, basic remote that controls functions, and really all we want to do on an Apple TV is get to the menu and play. So I'm very, very happy to the fact that it does that. But I'm probably going to still keep my Apple TV Watch with me. We also got to take into account there's an Apple TV remote app on your iPhone, which works really well as a remote as well. So you've got other options as well. But there's people who like this kind of remote that is very solid. It's big. It's not going to be as hard to lose. And I'm so far impressed. Again, I can only judge it on the 5 to 6 hours that I've been using it. So, but I think it's good. And I know, Jeff, you've been itching to ask questions about it, so go ahead and...
Okay. So one of the things that's been happening for me recently is I've been having conversations with people who are saying, hey, I have family members who have no technical inclination at all. They get very confused just trying to use their television, and they have an Apple TV, and now they're just really confused about everything. So would this be a good choice to give to that family member that they don't need to use Siri? What they need is remote control that makes it easier for them to use their television and their Apple TV.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, this is a good basic remote. I think it'd be perfectly fine for someone like that. I mean, it'll get you through the menus. It is kind of weird. You got to hold the menu button in to get to go to the home page. You got that option, but the forward, back, pause, all the functionality of the Apple TV, the navigation buttons, the OK button gets you, lets you navigate through the apps. So it was a little wonky getting through and actually having to enter passwords if you have to sign into your account, because sometimes you have to re-authenticate. Mm-hmm. So you do have to go through and go through the letters and move the arrows up and down, so you don't have the voice option, of course. But other than that, I don't think most people be doing that anyway. They just go to the apps they want to watch and they're good with it. So
yeah. Okay, cool. Well, so that's awesome.
But a good short review. I think it's a good buy. The price is $29.95. I know I ordered this. I believe. Yeah, it's only $30 for this remote. So I ordered this. I think I ordered this at the beginning of July. So it took a while, over a month. And you go on their website now. I'll have a link in the show notes. It looks like they're shipping. Looks like they're still shipping in September. So their warehouse is in Las Vegas. So in Henderson, Nevada. So they've got a distribution center there to ship these out across the country. So a lot of people have been reviewing them, and they've been, for the most part, are getting pretty positive reviews, other than some of the cons it doesn't offer.
As soon as we're done recording, I'm sending the link to this to a friend who needs to get it for his dad.
Yeah, there you go. I think his dad would probably be very happy with it. Warren, do you use Apple TV a lot, or what do you think of this remote?
Yeah, I was just going to actually say that I don't use my Apple TV enough to warrant it. When I do, I use my phone. I don't think I've touched the Siri remote forever. Yeah. And now pretty much I think all the TVs that matter to me have Apple TV built into it as well. In fact, my TV just prompted me that says it updated. Now it has Apple TV and AirPlay and all that good stuff. So, I mean, for me, it's, I'm not a big user of it. I hear good things about it. And if I use my TV more, I would think about it. We have, with automation, I have a Harmony with the Alexa set up. And that is, that's the way to go. I mean, that's the best system out there and it does do some Apple TV things as well. But yeah, no, I hear good things about it. The remote.
Well, I think it's a good remote, and I think like Jeff's example was somebody older who wants to have a remote that's easy to use and be able to navigate. I may even have my wife try it, see how she likes it, because I always hear her. She always has trouble navigating through with the Apple's remote with it. So on with that, I have a couple tips I wanted to go through and talk about that real quick, and then we're gonna get to some apps and we'll wrap things up here. Three of them I'm gonna jump on right now is how to chat with Apple support. I have an article linked here to OS X Daily, and it's really simple to actually chat with Apple support these days. If you have an Apple card, I mean, it's great. All you have to do is click the link to reach out to them, and it uses the same the chat. It's just Apple, and that's the business chat that they've incorporated into messages. So all you have to do is you go in and you actually just go over to getsupport.apple.com. You can do it from your web browser, and then pick where you're going to need help, and then it'll bring you over to their chat, and then you just have to just describe what your problems are, how to get support, all that stuff. Now, if you do it on your Mac, it'll just do it over through the web browser. But if you do it from the Apple Support app, it actually utilizes the Apple messages as far as that goes. And this article actually goes through and it gives you some of the ways of being able to how to chat and to do this. Jeff, have you used the chat at all with Apple?
By coincidence, very first time this week.
Oh, okay, I must have been the same wavelength here.
Clearly, yeah. I wasn't sure if when I did the CBS All Access Showtime bundle, because I already had a CBS All Access subscription.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
If it was going to automatically cancel my standalone All Access account and then just charge me for the bundle, and because it's just not clear. So I used their chat, and it turns out, I needed to cancel my my original CBS All Access subscription after I signed up for the bundle.
Right. Yep. Yeah, do that. Yeah, that was a great deal. We talked about that last week. $9.99. You get Showtime and CBS All Access as a bundle.
Yeah, which is what I was paying for CBS.
Right, exactly.
So
and you get commercial-free CBS.
Yeah,
with that.
It was great.
Yeah, which is great. So not a bad deal at all.
It worked smoothly. It was great.
All right, and then I'm also going to talk about how to mirror your Apple TV to your Mac. Now, why would you want to do that? This is actually an article in Tidbits. Our friend Josh Senners wrote this a few months ago, and I came back to revisit it. Why would you want to mirror your Apple TV? Well, probably for screenshots or presentations. If you actually want to do a presentation and show your Apple TV, this would probably be something you'd probably want to utilize. One of the hidden features on the Mac is the Quicktime Player, and I've used this all the time. I even use this to show my iPhone or my iPad. And all you have to do is you go into Quicktime Player in your Mac, and you go click File and then New Movie Recording. And this allows you to be able to connect to your Apple TV, and you just pick whichever it is. And then your Apple TV is actually on the screen, which is great. And if you want to do a demonstration, you want to do any screenshots, or maybe you want to just watch your Apple TV from at your computer, you could do that too. So this is a cool thing that you're able to do, and it is really cool. But it sometimes it may block things, especially if it's got copyright blocks and such. But for the most part, works pretty cool. Did you guys know about that?
Nope.
No, I didn't, and I wish I had known about this a long time ago.
I'm sure you've done some, because you've done many stuff on that. So,
oh yeah, I mean, there's so many times where I was setting up tripods and taking photographs of my television screen when I should have been doing this. I can't believe I didn't know this before now, but I'm glad I know it now.
So you'll learn a few things while you're here, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm glad. If I knew everything, life would be boring.
I don't know everything either, believe me. Okay, so we got a couple app updates and a couple. I have one app to update and 2 apps I want to talk, and then you've got 2 apps, Jeff, and then we'll wrap things up here. Apple did release updates to iMovie that went along with the updates they did to Final Cut Pro X, and the version for iOS and iPadOS has 25 new soundtracks. It's got new filters. They did some bug fixes, performance improvements, and which is cool. Like, I think it got some new sounds that you can do, because you get kind of sick of some of the sounds that they've been in there forever that everybody uses all the time. So, and they added there were some bug fixes on it as well, which is great. I'm happy they did that. And they also updated the Mac version too. I haven't been using iMovie, but I do have Final Cut Pro, which I really want to spend some time learning. But iMovie is still pretty easy, and it's amazing they offer that for free still, and it's a very powerful tool. Do you use it at all, Warren, at all with iMovie?
I did use iMovie once recently. And it was fun. I made my son turned 16 or 17, I forget which one. And we did
that.
It was during the quarantine. I should know that. And it was during quarantine, and we did a Zoom meeting, and I made a video of something, and it was neat. I was able to navigate it without ever using it before, which was kind of cool. And that was it. Maybe I'll use it again in another 16 or 17 years.
Any comments, Jeff?
I love that Apple keeps improving the functionality of iMovie. So hooray. I use iMovie occasionally, but honestly, most of the video editing I do is now all on my iPad in LumaFusion.
Yeah. Oh yeah, LumaFusion. Yep. That's the other one. That's a great one. And then the one app I had, this app is called Subtrack. And it's Subtrack. And what this does is it allows you to, it's kind of like a tracking app. It allows you to add all the subscriptions that you have. So hence the name Sub. And if you want to be able to manage your subscriptions like Netflix and Apple Music and Disney Plus, and you pay for Overcast every year. What it does is it allows you to add each one of them and it's a really nice interface. It's got little squares. And at the very top, it gives you average expenses. It tells you how much you pay per week, per month, and per year as it adds up. And that probably will frighten you as you add all of the subscriptions that you have, how much you are paying for all these things. But I think it's a great app, and it does have, it is free, and it does, have an in-app purchase of $2.99 if you want to manage more than 3 subscriptions, export subscription days to a CSV file, and so that does give you some expandings of this. And there's Mac app available too that it'll work as well. So neat app.
I guess I just need to spend $2.99 after we're done recording because I clearly need this.
Yeah, I think we all do.
I think this is filed under things I don't want to know about.
That's right.
So I think it's probably better I stay away from this app and just continue life with whatever subscriptions on.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
And then Jeff, you have 2 apps you want to talk about real quick.
Yes. The first one is Air Visual Air Quality Forecast, and it's an iOS app that tells you the air quality index for whatever location you want. And for me, this is an app that's especially important because I live in Colorado, so we're in wildfire season, which means that I have to deal with a lot of smoke, just like the people in California are having to do right now. And I do feel for all my friends in California that are having to deal with the smoke. I can absolutely empathize. But the great thing is, This app gives you that AQI number. It gives you alerts when it changes, and it has an Apple Watch app, so I can have those alerts right on my watch, and even have a complication for the AQI if I need.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Love it.
And then the second app, this is one that I got to get in on the beta program for, and it's Soosee, SOOSEE food scanner. And it's an iPhone app that uses the camera on your iPhone. Nice. You go into a grocery store, you pick something up, you hold your iPhone up and let the camera look at the ingredients, and it highlights all the things that are a problem for you. So you can go into the app and tell it, like in my case, I have a dairy allergy. Yeah. And now I can tell which foods are a problem for me without having to go through and read the ingredients myself. I just hold my iPhone up and do a quick scan, and I know immediately if there's something that's a problem for me.
That's awesome.
And I'm sorry, I can't remember how much it costs, but
I think it says free.
It's a cool little app.
Oh, free. It's free, and there's in-app purchases. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. There's a subscription. You could do a lifetime supporter for $14.99. If you do monthly, it's 99 cents, and if you do yearly, it's $8.99.
Okay, there you go. If you need to be watching what you're eating for whatever reason, it's a really cool and handy app.
Awesome. And that's a great way to wrap things up. Cool. Let's go ahead and wrap things up for this week. What a great show. This is a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios, and you can subscribe in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts and many others, including Spotify as well. And you can go to our website at In Touch with iOS, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Twitter @DaveG65. Jeff, thanks for being here this week. And where can people find you?
Well, thank you for having me on. You guys are awesome and a lot of fun. Okay. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm Jay Gamet both places. And very soon, because I'm starting a new podcast, that interview show. So you'll be able to find me there as well.
Might be a podcast I might be on sometime soon.
Yeah, I think there's a very high likelihood that's going to happen. All right.
I can't wait. Yeah. So what you said, how many, a couple weeks away? Or?
Yeah, I think so. Right. I had a few delays, just life gets in the way, but I'm back at the place now where I can make the show happen.
Awesome. Can't wait. Warren, where will we find you? Huh?
Oh, don't worry about me, Jeff. Thanks again.
You always say that.
That was cool. It's always fun talking to you.
Well, Mac to the Future. I want everybody to come out to the Mac to the Future Facebook page. That's a Facebook group, excuse me. We had a lot of fun over there. And Warren is very active there. That's for sure. And you're always going to get some good answers and some smart.
Until everybody gets rid of Facebook. Until everybody kills Facebook with all their complaining.
Yeah.
Now, Warren, I've noticed a really common bit of advice you give people, which is just do it.
Just do it. That's what he says about the betas. The betas. Yeah.
Put the beta on. Just go on Facebook. Tell them where you live. Tell them how much money you earn. Listen, in 60 years, it's not going to matter. We're all going to be dead. So, we got free Facebook. We got to play with the betas. What else can we want? I mean, come on.
There you go.
Just live. All
right. On that note, I appreciate everybody listening this week. I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll talk to you again soon.